So can you create a QR code out of Perlier beads? So I was watching Veritasium's excellent video on QR codes and thought, can I have a go at doing one of those? So what I have here is Perlier beads, or hama beads, depending on where you buy them from. They are small pieces of thermoplastic that you can arrange into shapes and then melt with an iron or something similar to solidify them together. They come in a range of different colours. I first got interested in them when I went to IKEA, and they have big tubs of them very cheaply, but they are quite low quality beads, so they're not cut nicely and they're a different size to the more professional branded ones, so I wouldn't recommend them. To create the actual QR code, I used the QR code generator online, and I entered the information I wanted the QR code to show, and then it generated the QR code. To convert it from a QR code to a grid so that you can use it for the beads, I wrote a bit of Python code to convert it from one format to another. So then it allowed me to print out a sheet that was the correct width for the spacing of the beads. So I can literally just look down through the clear plastic of the grid and then put them on the colours underneath. It makes this job so much easier. Commercial sorts of things are available online to do something similar, but I wrote my own code before I saw them, but there's no harm there. It uses quite a few pixels, this. The way I had it done, I had 3 levels of error protection. For more information on that, I would recommend seeing the Veritasium video on the topic. So it turned out quite large. I reckon I used probably 1500 beads. It quickly adds up. So I've laid them all out following the grid pattern below. One thing I noted was that you need to have a white border around the QR code for it to work. When it's generated from the software on the internet, it doesn't have a white border, or at least the one I didn't have a white border. And then the QR code wouldn't scan until I put a white border around it. So I've added a white border to this display here. So I've put a white beads all the way around, one pixel wide in terms of this unit. But hopefully that'll be enough. I've tried scanning it in its current format and I can't currently get it to scan. So I've got fingers crossed that when I do iron it, it will scan afterwards. The next step for me is to tape over the beads using white masking tape. This way I can iron the beads separate to the base plate. You find out quickly when you iron the beads on the base plate, it warps the base plate or deforms it, rendering it useless. So hence why I'm putting white painter's tape on top. Then I can take them off the base plate and then I can iron it. I've picked up quite a wide painter's tape here, so I think these are 48mm wide painter's tape. So I didn't want as many strips to be prone to error, so I picked the widest one I could find on Amazon, at least affordably. So the key here is not to let any of them move when you put the tape down. So that's why I've cut it off first, and now I'm going to lay it down on top. And then smooth it flat. I'm having a little bit of an overlap between the layers, so the tape just goes over the edge of the last one. At the moment the beads have no structural integrity between each other, but they're not ironed yet. So smooth it all out so there's good contact between the tape and the beads, and then I have to take the plate off somehow. Because it's larger than a single plate, if I was going to redo this again, I would shrink the QR code format to a single plate dimension, because it was a pain to make it over more than one plate's worth of space. This is going to go badly, well, at least I'll be on film. Yep, very badly. Okay, I've got to find a different solution to what I'm about to do. I hope to be able to peel up the tape and bring it with me, but that's not happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a canvas to press and create a sandwich between the tape and thing, and then hopefully flip it over. But as this is on more than one thing, this is going to also go badly, I reckon. Okay. I can now remove these. Because this pattern isn't an easy recognizable one, it's just random kind of computer code pattern, I'm going to have to refer back to the master image, trying to get the ones that have moved. That didn't go well at all either. No, everything's moving. The problem with this is I'm now looking at a chart with symmetry that's upside down. My brain won't do that. So it's flipped 180, so this is not the same anymore. It looks like the other side, which I can't see anymore. I'm just going to try to align them the best I can. So when I flipped it over, some of this stuff moved, particularly in this section up here. You see when it's on the plastic plates, it's fixed, so it's held that way. But these melt when you try to iron the pattern on them. So if I had a really crucial pattern that I couldn't shift, I could iron it on here and it would melt, and then these would be useless. But we don't want to do that. So what we've done is we've put tape on the back side, flipped it over using a hard surface to hold it in place. But unfortunately some of them moved. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've readjusted them. So this section up here isn't quite as tight a grid as this section down here is anymore because it's shifted. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be good enough to scan. So I'm going to give it an iron now, and then I'll bring it back and we'll see if it's scannable. Okay, moment of truth. I over-ironed it, or I think I over-ironed it, because I didn't want any of the beads being loose in the middle to fall out. So if anything, this should be overly stuck. I've got oh, we've got a lot of curling going on here. Oh, a lot of curling. Need to put something, put it on a flat surface. Oh, that's hot. Well, everything's curling up. So I've put it on a cutting mat, which was flat. And then I've put a canvas on top and I'm just leaning on it my weight to try and get it to flatten as it cools so it sits flat. But we are going to likely get some curling. So moment of truth, it's been sitting under this stack of books. So it should be flattish. So let's take these off. And then underneath this. Okay, so we have a bit of a curl, but not too much. Is it cool? Yeah, it's cool enough. So I did overcook it a bit in underneath the iron, but you can see that some of the holes are still quite large. There's a bit of a bow, but let's take the tape off and see if that helps. So let's remove this bit I put across. No beads, that's good. We're really hoping none of them stick to the tape and come out. Last one. Don't need that anymore. So you now have a QR code. Oh, it's not got the rigidity I'd hoped it had. So this side feels more rigid, but this side feels very fragile. Feels like if you pulled it too hard, it would break along each of these things. In principle, I could iron both sides. That'd make it more solid, but then I lose the effect of being the Perlier beads. Or the side that's like this doesn't want to scan, but the side that is ironed does. So I don't know whether it's a reverse it likes. Let me know if this is scannable. Try scanning, oh, let me put it in the middle. So try scanning it and let me know in the comments if your phone can scan it. So this is the unironed side, and then this is the iron side. Let me put that in the center of the frame. See if it's scannable, to see if it actually works as a QR code. I'm managing to get it to scan on both sides now, but you have to be a little way away because it's quite a large QR code. Yeah, it's not perfect as a QR code. When I compare it to the paper one, the one I printed out, that's far more quick to scan. So something's confusing it on this one, probably the three-dimensionality of it. But as a project, it's fun. Oh, you can see through it. So it hasn't shut up entirely. You can still see through. So it's not solid, it's actually translucent. You can see through it.